we just want to work, sell our crop, and have a decent life like everybody else. But if they would just leave it alone.
This trade war is going to impact literally every corner of the country. Some of those who are most uncertain about what this is going to mean is those in agriculture and farming. Like here, corn and soybean farmers and pork producers. Where does this trade war end?
I don't know where it ends. I hope it ends soon.
What is your message to the Trump administration?
Just stay out of it. I mean, if they would just leave it alone and let the free market do its job, everything would be okay.
This is going to be so far reaching, not just because of the Trump administration's tariffs of goods imported into the United States, but it's about the question marks in the days ahead about the retaliatory tariffs that the likes of China, Canada, potentially Mexico, and Europe are going to place on U.S. goods that are either produced, like corn and soybeans, or manufactured and sent overseas.
Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the...
No, the hell he doesn't. During the last trade war, we saw an increase in farm bankruptcies. We lost 90% of our soybean sales the week the tariffs went on. And that was just playing FAFO in one country. Now the whole world's tariff. I dropped my phone. Soybeans are currently down 28 today. Corn was leaking lower about 5 to 7 cents, and now it's looking at like it's 2 to 1 penny across the board. Crude's down to $61.99, which means no drill, baby, drill. Live cattle are down 4, feeder are down 6. Hogs are down 3, cotton's down almost 3, and the dollar can't decide if it wants to be weaker or stronger. Trump doesn't love the American farm. He doesn't understand how tariffs work.
Good day, everyone. Today we're talking about something that doesn't always make the front page, but absolutely should. The ongoing situation of Iowa farmers, the struggles, the changes, and why what's happening here affects all of us. In early 2025, President Donald Trump enacted a series of tariffs that have significantly affected the agricultural sector. On April 2nd, 2025, he announced a 10% baseline tariff on all imported goods, with additional 10% tariffs, specifically targeting Chinese imports, and 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada. These measures aimed to address trade imbalances, but have led to considerable concern among American farmers. China responded by imposing retaliatory tariffs of 34% on all American goods, including key agricultural products such as soybeans, corn, and wheat. This escalation threatens to diminish one of the largest export markets for U.S. farmers, who were already facing narrow profit margins due to high operational costs. Iowa isn't just any state. It's the breadbasket of America. It ranks number 1 in corn production and number 1 in pork production, and it's one of the top producers of soybeans and eggs too. In fact, agriculture makes up about 1/3 of Iowa's economy. But behind those impressive numbers is a very different reality for the farmers themselves.
My neighbor was supported by
Elon Musk.
That's what you voted for. What do you
We don't read.
Farming has always been risky. Weather, prices, pests. Farmers are used to fighting the odds. But now the cost of just staying afloat are skyrocketing. Fertilizer prices have nearly doubled since 2020. Tractor repairs are outrageous. Diesel fuel are just through the roof. Even seeds are getting more expensive. And while farmers are paying more to plant and harvest, they are often getting less when they sell their crops. And if that wasn't enough, Mother Nature isn't exactly cooperating either. Iowa farmers are dealing with unpredictable weather than ever. One year it's historic droughts, the next year is devastating floods or violent storms, like the 2020 derecho that wiped out millions of acres. Farming has always been tied to the weather, but climate change is making it a roller coaster they can't control and can barely predict. And if all that wasn't enough, there's a corporate squeeze. Small and medium-sized family farms are getting pushed out by giant corporate operations. Companies are buying up farmlands at record rates, making it harder for young farmers to even get started. Land prices are through the roof, over $11,000 per acre in Iowa. It's becoming a game only the rich can play. And then, of course, there's politics. Every election season, politicians come to Iowa, talk about supporting farmers and promise the world. But on the ground, many farmers feel forgotten once the cameras leave. Trade wars, tariffs, subsidy cuts, renewable energy policies, all of it hit farmers first and hardest.
All right, if Trump's first term brought tariffs against other countries, triggering the farmers to lose a lot of business and to lose a lot of the farms, what ended up happening was there's a bunch of subsidies, like hundreds of millions of dollars in subsidies that went from the government to the farmers. Many of these farmers, it did not help. Many of these farmers actually had to sell their farms and go from there. When they sold their farms, there was one big corporation there to buy them all up. That big corporation was led by and run by none other than J.D. Vance. Now the farmers are looking at two different things, and speaking just from California in the perspective.
And lastly, here is something we don't talk about enough: the emotional toll. Farming isn't just a job, it's an identity. When prices collapse, crops fail, or debts pile up, it's not just financial stress, it's personal failure in their eyes. A lot of Iowa farmers are struggling silently with depression, anxiety, and hopelessness. There's crisis going on in rural America that most people don't even see.
Our industry has a lot of stresses. It's got weather stress. It has commodity market stresses. It has regulatory stresses. My hat's off to the people in the industry at all sizes in all places, because this is a tough business, but it's also a very rewarding one.
Some Iowa farmers are fighting back with innovation. They are turning to regenerative agriculture to heal the soil, investing in renewable energy to reduce costs, starting direct-to-customer businesses like farmers markets, CSA boxes, and online sales. There is a new generation of farmers determined to adapt, survive, and thrive. Iowa farmers are resilient. They have weathered storms, literal and figurative, for generations. But they need more than resilience now. They need real support. Because when we lose our farmers, we lose more than food. We lose a way of life. So what do you think? Let's keep this conversation going, because the heart of America is worth fighting for. And thanks for watching. Bye.